Today is a happy day. We're talking about happiness, the happiest places to live, the happiest jobs to have, and we're going to give you a happiness quiz. I love a good quiz. You're going to find out where you need to beef it up in your happiness level. Now, Dan Buettner, hi, is a best-selling author and explorer who spent years researching happiness. He's even identified, you might have seen him on the show we did with Dr. Oz, identified blue zones where people around the world live the longest. His new book with National Geographic is called Thrive, Finding Happiness, the Blue Zones Way. So what does the research say, really, about how kids affect America?
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. Everybody loves their children, and at the end of the day, you look at our kids with great love. But research shows we fail to predict. We fail to foresee all the sleep we're going to miss. It costs over $250,000 to raise a child these days.
From birth to 18?
To 18.
Yeah.
Our relationships take a blow. We're not going to get, all the sex we were getting beforehand. So, but the good news here is that you're quite right. When you're 18, your happiness goes back to normal, and it keeps going up from there. And grandparents are very happy people.
Researchers found the more neighbors you know, listen to this, the happier and safer you feel. And listen to this, if your neighbor is happy, it increases your own happiness by 34%. I was going to ask you, why is that true?
Well, okay, I want to make a point about San Luis Obispo. They didn't all of a sudden wake up one day and were happy. In 1970, they made the decision.
Yes.
People themselves changed their environment. And one of the things they did was made their sidewalks wider.
Yes.
Changed the ordinance so they could have outdoor cafes. So they made that connectivity, that they set up an infrastructure so it was easy to meet your neighbors. And I think that's an important point. Creating surroundings that make it easier for you to be happy.
So it means people make the decision, we want our lives to be better, to be different. So now we're all going to collectively agree that that's what we want as a community, and that's why that community
The point is
the
power is in our hands. For those of us who work, we spend most of our waking hours working. So Gallup and Healthways interviewed about 1 million workers, and they found that the happiest people get 8 hours of social interaction a day. So you look at that list there, clergy, transportation, they're an environment where they're constantly interacting. So when it comes to work, you want to go after what gives you bliss, not what gives you bucks. You see, the reality when it comes to happiness, we need to take care of our basic needs. We need food, shelter, we need some health care, we need some mobility. But after that, there's something called the hedonic treadmill. We think we want something, a nicer house, a better car, and we often get it. But the reality is we overestimate how much joy it'll give us, and we overestimate the duration. The real reality is that new stuff wears out pretty quickly. And the stuff that matters is what we're doing right now. So what I'm saying is, for the average person in America who makes $75,000 a year, on a day-to-day basis, they're experiencing as much happiness as the guy who's making $1 million. If happiness is a cake recipe, the most important ingredients are, do I have a good job? Did I marry the right person? Hugely important. Do I have engaging work? Do I volunteer in a way where I get a feeling that I'm giving back?
Right.
But the biggest thing is where you live.
Where you live. But isn't the thing that makes us happy having family, having connections? Having connections. Yeah. And without the connections, because you can't connect to things. So if you're just buying more things to make yourself happy, you will never be happier because things can't give anything back to you.
That's right.
Dan's new book, Thrive, is out in stores now. Come on, get happy, everybody. Thank you.
All right.